Because of the title of this video, I know a lot of you came prepared to hate or to fight for your lack of belief, but at least hear what I have to say before you hate. It makes sense to me why some people are agnostic, because they trust in certain parameters, and within those parameters the existence of a God cannot be disproven, and in their view it cannot be proven either. But atheists, a lot of them trust in the same parameters, but they conclude there is no God.
Well, this one's easy to prove that you're a lying sack of shit. Go ahead and find me some atheists that tell you that there is no chance that there's a God, that there's zero possibility of there ever being a God anywhere at any point in time ever. But I mean, no, it's something that you cannot be disproven. Therefore, atheists don't believe in a God, whereas you're using agnostic. Agnostics don't believe in a God either, but they're kind of more like, you know, well, either way could go. We just can't know, or they choose not to put in the time or the effort, or they just don't care. Who knows? There's plenty of good reasons. You know that there's such a thing as a agnostic atheist, right? Just like there's such a thing as a Baptist Christian. The agnostic atheists they're agnostics that lean more towards atheism. I consider myself an atheist mainly because anyone that doesn't follow like some kind of religion and doesn't believe in any kind of God is called an atheist. Now, the only reason that we have to get upset and defend our lack of belief is because we have douchebags like you out there misrepresenting us and our fucking arguments.
One reason it doesn't really make sense to me is because they're not really going in the direction that new scientific findings lead. Rather, they're going in the direction that best suits the story they've already chosen to be true.
Are you trying to break my irony meter? Are you seriously projecting that fucking hard on atheists? You're going to tell atheists that they ignore scientific evidence in order to continue believing the story that they already decided they thought was they've already. Yeah, what religious people do? What religious people are just so willing to dump their story that they've decided to believe and follow the scientific evidence. Is that what you're implying? That atheists don't do that, but religious people do? Are you fucking retarded? Have you not looked around? Have you ever talked about this with anyone outside of like your fucking church? Huh? I mean, you seem to be very willing to say like, oh, well, you know, atheists, you guys just are not willing to change your minds. You're stuck in your ways. As if the religious out there are just so open-minded and willing to change. And just and throw out some of their faith and their beliefs and whole chunks of the Bible if science says, oh, this is wrong. No, they don't do that at all, do they? They say fuck that science and they cling to their religion. So enough of that projection shit, please.
My question to an atheist is, how can you be sure there is no God? And I'm not talking here specifically about the God that I believe in. Just how can you be sure?
And my answer to you is that you cannot be sure, one way or other. You can't be sure. An atheist can never be 100% sure there is no God. And a theist can never be 100% sure that there is a God. To claim otherwise is to display your ignorance. To claim to have ultimate knowledge and like cosmic knowledge of how everything works with 100% certainty makes you look like a fucking douchebag.
If you're like some atheist, you might claim, well, I don't know with certainty. There is just no evidence to support the existence of a God. I think there definitely is, but fair enough. I just wonder though, if that's the case, why focus so much on trying to explain a world without God?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for trying to make, I don't know what that was, trying to make atheists look like Heisenberg or something. Okay, thanks. But we focus on showing you that you're wrong, on educating your dumb ass. You see, if atheists just stay quiet and we don't come out and try to explain that there's a very good possibility there is no God and try and make religious people look stupid, like I'm trying to make you look stupid right now. I don't have to try very hard, by the way, because people like you Otherwise, just go through life thinking very shallowly, by the way, what we guess I guess I could call it thinking, that you are right, and that like the arguments for God, like flowers and shit like that, are awesome arguments. And Pascal's wager, which you're gonna bring up here in a little bit, yeah, those are shit arguments, really shit arguments. And if you don't ever talk to atheists, or atheists never speak up, guess what? You're gonna think they're great arguments, but they're not, because you haven't challenged them. I think it's hilarious how badly you wish atheists would just shut up, because I guess we make you look retarded, and justifiably so.
Let me rephrase that to make it a little clearer. If your reason for not believing in God is lack of evidence, why aren't you desperately trying to find that conclusive evidence that will let you know for sure that there is no God?
And what evidence would that be, super genius? Let me know. Let me know. What evidence should I be searching for that will prove there is no God? Right? Let me know. Because if I find physical evidence, you'll say he's outside of like the physical world. And I could search for that evidence forever and ever, but you just say God is outside of time. You understand? There's no evidence. That's why atheists don't claim to 100% know there is no God, because there is no evidence that we could ever find that would fucking back that up. Do you get it? Do you get it? We don't just go with like what we like and then just say, fuck it, I'm not going to listen to your argument or anything.
You can't disprove a negative, it's a waste of time. You might as well try to disprove that there is no Santa Claus or spaghetti monster. But see, we can disprove those things. There is no sign of a Santa Claus. We know where that story originated. There are no magic gifts appearing every Christmas morning, and not once have we spotted flying reindeer. And the spaghetti monster, that was just a silly concept created to show that it is silly to believe in a God, but there's not really any substance there.
This is becoming more and more entertaining as I go through the video. I like how you're like, well, you know, obviously Santa Claus isn't real because we can tell that there's no magical presence underneath the Christmas tree, right? And the flying spaghetti monster isn't real because, well, I guess because this guy just says so. Where's your evidence, buddy? The point of the flying spaghetti monster was to show you how easy it is just to come up with any deity and say, okay, now you can't disprove it, therefore it's good enough. If you can't disprove it, believe in it. By the way, I don't see you believing in every last god of every last religion, which you should be. If you can't disprove every last god of every last religion, that's good enough reason to believe it, right? Right? Oh, no, you're a God of the Bible guy. You know why? Because you were raised into it. You decided you believe that story, and now you're going to ignore and argue your way around it in order to keep your faith. That's how badly you want to believe this irrational bullshit, right? And that's the reason that the flying spaghetti monster is around. Like, it's a joke. It's making your faith look like a joke, and you just oh, forget it. Don't even, you know, don't even hit that subject. Just let it go. Let it go. It just does not make much sense. We could just not have to deal with it.
With God, if you're willing to actually and genuinely keep an open mind, there are signs of Him everywhere, and if you're willing to look in the right places, you'll be amazed at just how real and evident He is.
Yes, but you're not going to give us any evidence, right? And not only are you not going to give us evidence, you're not even going to tell us where to look, right? I mean, he's like, it's extremely evident. All you have to do is look. Look where? Just fucking look. Don't ask me questions. Just do as I say. You know, it's so evident. Look, there's trees and flowers. And there's a cat and a dog, and the dog ate the cat. It's all proof of God.
I find it interesting and a bit sad that atheists often claim that the burden is on religious people to prove that there is a God. That burden is on atheists. My burden is to let you know about God and His love for you, not to scientifically prove you wrong.
Could you just really claim that your burden is to just make assertions with no proof or evidence, and then it is our job to then prove you wrong? Right? Is that what you just said? So, if we want to call this, let's say this world, I believe it's a butt plug in a giant pink unicorn's asshole. All right, now I've made the claim with nothing to back me up. Now it is your job to prove me fucking wrong. And when you hand me evidence, I can just ignore it because it doesn't follow the storyline that I like. And somehow this way that you flipped the fucking script and made it so that like, oh, no, you see, I can just say whatever retarded shit I want, and it's up to you to prove me wrong. I don't have to show you any kind of evidence. Absolute bullshit. And that's another sign of how weak their faith is and how weak the evidence for their religion is, because they have no positive evidence, or extremely little, and they cling to it so. That little bit of evidence. So instead they turn around and say, well, you can't disprove it. Oh my God. And then if you spend time trying to disprove their shit, assholes like this come around and be like, well, I don't know why atheists are so angry and always trying to like knock people's faith and shit. Well, you asked for it. You first you tell us, no, you've got to disprove my faith. And then if anyone tries, you're like, hey, asshole, stop trying to disprove my faith. You got to choose one or the other, douchebag.
Why is it a burden on disproving God on the atheist? Well, if you're 100% sure that there is no God, you're just lying to yourself, because that's something that has never been proven. And if you're not sure, it's in your best interest to be sure.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that you are so convinced that these arguments are awesome against atheists, but not against theists? Like, if you're gonna, you can't be 100% sure. No theist out there can be 100% sure, just like no atheist can be 100% sure. But it sure as fuck doesn't stop you from being a theist, does it? This crazy double standard, these double standards that most religious people have, but you just put it like right on display. You're like, well, you see, you cannot be sure, and it's good to be sure. Well, nobody can be 100% sure about there being a God or not. And even though it's nice to be sure about things, we have to fucking eventually make a judgment. You know, and the judgment is whether there's enough, we think we're sure enough that it's God is real, or sure enough that he's not real. There's no 100% going on for either side, but you only point that out for the atheists because, you know, theists don't have to be 100%, I guess. They can be like, oh, you know, 90%, and then just make up the rest with, like, you know, rainbow shitting unicorns. I don't fucking know.
Because if there is no God, fine, our death is the end of it all. I lived my life the best I saw fit, and so did you. It makes no difference. But if there is a God, that means you were wrong. At which point, your only hope becomes that the major religions are all wrong about non-believers being sent to a not very pleasant place after we die. You see what I'm saying? Being atheist is very risky in that sense, especially if you don't know with a certainty that there is no God.
So now it becomes apparent to us that this guy hasn't thought through his faith very much, because unless you believe in every God of every religion, you are also an atheist. You don't believe in every God of every religion. If there is any God at any point in time from any religion that you don't believe in, you are an atheist towards that God and that religion. Now, people from that religion should just say to you, well, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's, you know, you could burn in hell for eternity. You could burn, you know, boiling feces is where you're going to spend the rest of eternity because you didn't believe in my faith. You know, oh, we have to give you like physical threats because we really want you to believe our bullshit. But so, do you believe in every God ever? Ever? Because you're telling atheists they should just like cover all their bets. That they should just do it just in case. So I guess you should be religious for every God. You should be Muslim, Mormon, Christian, Catholic. Just go with all of it because just in case, right? That's your fucking line of reasoning?
And I ask again, how can you be sure? Are you willing to not even consider the possibility of the existence of a God just because some people think it's dumb to believe in God? I personally rather be perceived as dumb my whole life than risk my afterlife.
Well, you're doing a great fucking job. I am thoroughly convinced that you are a stupid motherfucker.
If you're willing to bet on the fact that everything around you is a result of randomness and no involvement of an intelligent being, that's on you. But It just doesn't make sense to me. Because even something as simple as this, you wouldn't believe that it just fell into place looking this way. It looks like someone built it. I did actually. I could probably do a lot better now. I did this when I was just a kid. Don't judge me. How much more complex is a leaf? DNA, reproduction. Look at some freaking snowflakes close up.
When they're talking about the complexity of everything, I wonder why they never show just a picture of a fucking rock. Like, look at this rock. There's no way that it just happened to be this way. It had to have been designed exactly at this weight, with these angles and this shape. It must be. My question to you is, if we're intelligently designed, and this whole universe is intelligently designed, why do most of the animals here, you know, go extinct? Why are there so many miscarriages? Why are there stars, you know, imploding out there? These are the questions that you will never be able to answer with your, like, just look at how beautiful everything is and it's proof of a god. You dumb atheist, this cannot be random. Of course it can't be random, because you're so fucking special. God made you. You're gonna go to heaven with Jesus. Oh, you're not a fucking annoying asshole at all, right?
It has taken the smartest minds in the world to make things that mimic life, and we're nowhere near reaching that level of complexity, and yet you're willing to believe that life just happened?
We're also unable to make stars and planets and moons and a shitload of other stuff that just happens naturally, because guess what? We're humans, and we're still fucking in our infancy when it comes to the universe and our intelligence. The fact that we're intelligent, more intelligent than like some other animals, does not mean that means we should be able to just create life through unnatural processes. Your standards for evidence are extremely high on the scientific and atheistic end, and then non-existent for the theistic and the religious and the God believers. It's quite telling. It shows your position very clearly.
You're free to do so, it's your life, it just doesn't make sense to me. As much as you may hate me for my views on your views, I love you, and it is because I believe that there is a God who came to die for us as Jesus Christ. Why I want to tell you this, so that you will be as happy as I will be when we die.
And we wrap it up with my favorite part of Christianity here, which is he doesn't love us because he's a loving person. He does it because his religion tells him to do so. He was told that he should love you. That's why he loves you. Now, I don't hate this guy. I think he's an idiot. He frustrates me. I want to educate him. I wish he would stop sounding like he has no clue what the fuck he's talking about. He obviously put this out there knowing that he would get a response from atheists, because he immediately disabled comments. Or I'm sorry, ratings. The comments are still open on this video. You can go have a good time with him. I'll put a link below. But the idea that oh, atheists, they all hate me, and I love them, not because I'm a loving person, but because, you know, Jesus. it makes you look every bit as douchebaggy as you come off as in this fucking video. It's fucking frustrating. It is frustrating to have to deal with the same arguments and explaining things to the same people over and over again, and you just never seem, they either can't grasp it or they choose not to because it frightens them. I don't know. It's sad to me that you will never know that you are wrong. That when you die, you will not go to eternal happiness in the heaven with the, you know, jerking Jesus and all these. That's not the way it's gonna fucking go. It's you're gonna die and you're not even gonna know you're dead because your fucking brain stops working. And that'll be the way it goes. And I'm sure people will be sad. And if it makes them feel comfortable or makes them feel better to say that you went to heaven and lie to themselves about it, then whatever. That's about all religion is really good for. All right. So I hope I've opened your eyes and explained a little bit to you where we're coming from, because you seem to have grouped all atheists into like this group of atheists that doesn't even fucking exist. Like I said, if you believe 100% and think there is proof that there is no God, go ahead and let me know, because you're the dumbest atheist I will have met to date, because I've met no one that says that shit.
You're free to do so. It's your life. It just doesn't make sense to me.
All right. Coctopus, out.